During the summer of 2021 and 2022, I was a software engineer intern at Redfin, a real estate company based in Seattle. The company builds solutions for home buyers and home sellers, and is one of the largest real estate companies in the US. The experience taught me many valuable lessons, and I would love to share with you in this video. So without further ado, let's dive in. I worked in the digital closing engineering team during my first summer here. This team built on the solutions that allow home sellers to close deals with home buyers more easily. The project I took was a front-end project. I didn't have much front-end experience back then, so this project really improved my skill. I was assigned to upgrade the open book application. This is a place where users can rate service providers. You can think of a service provider as a lawyer or a lender. My product manager noticed a slow in traffic on this application, so she wanted me to make some front-end updates to improve the traffic. The open book application has 4 pages: the home page, the service page, the service provider listing page, and the service provider detail page. The home page contains all the locations where Redfin offers services. There are 2 columns, one for home buyers and one for home sellers. Let's say I'm a home seller and I'm interested in finding some service providers in the Boston area. I click on Boston. My first task is to build a detail button for each service. I built this button here. There was a backend API call from the backend to get all service providers for each service. I calculated the number of service providers and included a redirect to take the users to the service provider listing page. When I click, you will see a bunch of landing service providers. For this page, I built the pagination feature. So the idea of pagination is, instead of showing a list of thousands of service providers, we break it down to small lists. Each has about 10 items. The feature allows users to navigate within one screen, but for some reason, they decided not to launch this. And finally, if you want to see what's inside, you can click on the service provider and it will take you to the service provider detail page. This page shows everything about the service provider, from email, phone number, ratings, and comments. I was assigned to build 2 features on this page. The first one is a navigation bar. This navigation bar allows me to navigate between the 4 pages of the open book application. The second feature is star rating. That feature allows users to rate a service provider that they have used. When I worked there, I saw they launched this feature, but now they took it back. I believe maybe because it didn't improve the customer experience as they expected. During my second summer at Redfin, I worked on the search experience team, a team that built everything from maps and home listings to search engines. I was assigned to implement a new feature called strict search. So this feature allows users to search for properties using strict name. This is a backend heavy project. It taught me many great backend concepts that I hadn't learned in school. First, I had to build a database from scratch. This was the toughest part of the project, and it took me a while to figure this out. But it's worth it. Redfin already has some existing table containing properties information and strict names, but the data scattered everywhere. So I had to design a new schema and migrate data from multiple sources into one place. At first, I ran into a major issue. The migration took 8 hours to complete, but the database had a 5-minute limit. That means it will automatically shut down if it freezes for 5 minutes, and the database table could not build up. I researched around but could not find a solution. It was frustrating. So I decided to talk to my tech lead, and he suggested a technique called batching. So the idea here is I break the data into smaller chunks and migrate each piece individually. Each batch only took about 2 to 3 minutes to complete, and the database timer reset every time I finish a batch. The next part was also interesting. I needed to find a way for the search engine to communicate with the database. This was when I learned about asynchronous communication. The protocol allowed 2 software components to communicate via a third-party service called message brokerage. My company used Kafka for this. I will not get into the details of Kafka, but you can think of it as a black box that takes information from one microservice and other microservices consume information from it. In this case, I wrote a script that sends data from the database to Kafka and the search engine consumes information from it. I will make another video explaining Kafka in the future, so subscribe so that you don't miss it. The final part was building backend APIs. This part was straightforward. I just need to create several endpoints to fetch data from the database and send it to the front end in JSON format. I did this several times during my personal projects, so it only took me several days to complete. There are two lessons that I learned from my experience. First of all, find a balance between independence and asking for help. On one extreme are people always ask questions because they cannot think by themselves. These people cannot become good engineers because they don't have the research skill needed to solve a problem on their own. On another extreme are people who are too independent. They never ask questions because they believe they can solve any problem themselves, but it will take them longer to figure out a solution. I believe the truth always lies in the middle. You need a little bit of both. A good engineer doesn't rely much on others, but know when to find people with more experience and learn from them. And secondly, learn to reuse existing code. Most of the code I wrote in this project is some variation of existing code. For example, to create a navigation bar, I took code from a different team and added some tweaks to it. When I create a data migration script, I reuse code from my tech lead. Therefore, reading and understanding other people's code is very important. I mentioned this in another video. Learn to leverage existing code so that you can find solutions to your problems more effectively. That's it for this video. I hope you enjoy it. If you like the video, please like and subscribe. That supports the channel a lot, and I will see you in the next video. Peace.